I'm Mara Hanel, and I'm the mayor here in Warren. So I didn't know that, that this would be part of what I would be doing this first year as mayor, but this is a great event. So if an alien comes up and says, take me to your leader, I guess that's who they take you to, is to me. So the city council was asked to proclaim this day as UFO Day, and they did. So it's kind of exciting that 40 years have passed since this amazing occurrence here in Marshall County. Thanks to Sherilyn and the board members and volunteers in Marshall County Historical Society for all their planning and preparation to advertise and put on this event. So let's give them a round of applause. Tonight it'll be kind of interesting to hear all the stories of occurrences and different encounters that have happened and learn a little more about this fateful night back in 1979. Honestly, leading up to this, in my household, we've told a few stories ourselves about different things that are unexplained out there in the sky. So it'll be kind of interesting just to talk with people around the room tonight and hear some of your stories too as we gather and just really enjoy time together tonight. And without further delay, I have a couple of jokes that I found on the internet that I thought would be kind of fun. So what is an alien's favorite place on the computer? The space bar. What did the alien say to the garden? Take me to your weeder. Where would an alien park his spaceship? A parking meteor. What kind of currency do aliens use? This has to do with coffee.
Starbucks.
What do aliens like to read? Comic books. And have you heard the one about the flying spaceship? Never mind, it's over your head. So I got those jokes from jokesforus.com. Thanks again for coming tonight, and I hope you have a really great time. And Warren's a wonderful community to live in, and maybe you'd want to come and make Warren your new home in the future. How many people came from local? How many people are within like half an hour? Raise your hand. And how many came from over 30 miles? Over 50? Keep your hands up. Over 100? 200? 300? Oh my goodness. How far? Yeah.
Well, Aberdeen, but I grew up here.
Oh, okay. And how far? Germany. Well, that's good. How far over here? 320. All right, great. Well, give yourselves a round of applause for showing up and have a great time.
Hello, my name is Sherilyn Myers. I'm the director here at Settler Square Museum. Thanks everyone for coming out. I didn't really know what to expect when I started this. I was kind of hoping for maybe 25, 50 people to come out and enjoy this evening, but hey, we hit a record, I think. I'm glad you're here. We're going to start out with our spaced out costume contest. So I am going to call the little kids' names that dressed up, and I want you to come and stand up here in line. The first one is Xander Severson. Anna Amy Science. And second place to Xander and Hannah. Next on our agenda are the Jensen Sisters. They're singing sisters from Thief River, Minnesota. And I will let them tell you their story, and then they have a special song for us.
Let's put the guitar on.
Alrighty, so I don't know how loud we are right now, so tell us if you can hear us. Can you hear us all right? Oh, okay, that's better than I thought it was going to be.
Surprising.
Yeah, so we're Kendra in Kansas, the Jensen Sisters.
That's
we're
Kendra.
super-
I'm Kansas.
Yeah, we're super excited to be here tonight. We want to give a thank you to the Marshall County Historical Society for letting us come out. And asking us to be here. It's a really big honor. Definitely. When we wrote this song 2 years ago, we definitely did not think we would be singing it tonight for you guys. But yet again, we're in a room with an alien car, if you didn't notice, so anything's possible. That's what we're coming to figure out. But no, we grew up in Goodrich, Minnesota, so not too far from here. And as kids, our grandparents always told us the story of the UFO car from Warren, and every
All the
year.
weird stuff that happened around here.
Yeah, because I guess there was some weird stuff happening around here back
We
in the
weren't
day.
alive.
We weren't alive yet, but we heard about it. And then, of course, we came to the Marshall County Fair every year, and we saw the car, and it just amazed us and never ceased to amaze us. And still, every year when we come,
We noticed something new every time.
every time we come and see it, it seems like it's just, like the first time. And so then, of course, when we started writing songs, it was always kind of in the back of our heads. And one day we sat down with our co-writer, Mr. Jason Hammer, a friend of ours from Nashville, and he said, "Hey, let's write a story song." And I said, "I think we got a story for you. I think you might know a good story to write about." And so we watched all the documentaries and we read all the articles about the Val Johnson case, and we came back, and in about an hour we had the song finished, and that was 2 years ago. Well, fast forward now to June, our producers got a hold of us and they said, "All right, girls, it's time to go back into the studio to record your second album, your first full-length album." And we said, "All right, well, there's this song we really want to put on there. It's about an alien." And they looked at us and kind of like we were nuts. And
All right.
I was like, "Okay, well, just listen to it." And so they took a listen and they said, "Okay, well, let's put it on the record." And so when we came to the fair this year, we already knew that we were going to record this song. And so we came to the museum thinking we were all sneaky, like we know that we're going to record this song, the secret song about this car that nobody else knows about. And so we come in and we see this big old sign that says 40th anniversary this August, and our eyes get real wide and chills right off our body, because in the song there's a line that says 40 years ago, and when we wrote it we had no idea that it was actually 40 years ago.
It was actually very weird.
It was weird, and see, we're musicians, we're not good at math. That's what we do. And so we saw that, and then the second thing we saw was that there's an actual audio clip of the call that Val Johnson called into the studio, and we said, "Oh, that is so cool." And we left the fair that night so excited, and we told our producers, "Hey, I think there's this clip. We should add this clip into the song somehow." And they said, "Okay, well, get to work." So
Find it.
they were downstairs tracking guitar. We were upstairs tracking down that clip, and we made a couple calls. First we called the sheriff's department here in Marshall County. We talked to Deputy Willie Wagner, and he was super excited about the idea, but he said, "I have no idea where that clip is. You can try the Historical Society." So then we called the Historical Society, and we talked to Miss Sherlyn, and she said, "Okay, well, I think maybe I can help you." So she spent a couple days and she tracked down the audio clip for us. So we have it now. It's going to be in the song
Somehow.
somehow, which is super duper exciting. And we this is just such a cool story, and so we're really glad that we could inspire a song about it. There are a couple things that are different we'll tell you before we get going. First thing, I think the most notable thing.
The song is inspired about.
It's inspired by. And so we say Deputy Warren to pay homage to the town that has been so welcoming to us instead of Deputy Johnson, things like that. And you know, it's a story song, so we wanted to write it the way that we've heard the story growing up from our friends and from our neighbors or grandparents. The guy at the coffee shop getting coffee, you know. And so it's like a conversation, and you'll hear when we start playing it for you. It's just a conversation, and the story goes the way we do it. Nobody knows what happens because really nobody knows the full story, which was what I think is one of the most interesting things about it. And so with that being said, we're going to now play you our version of what happened that night. This is the Marshall County Incident.
Deputy Warren saw true. Peter Bauer. He was our dispatch man the night of this incident, and he's going to give you some of his recollections.
around, visited him out in the hospital, and with his kids and our kids. So I got to know Val pretty well. And he was a by-the-book officer. I mean, most of the officers that I knew, and even when I worked with Peter first, didn't always use what they call the 10 codes. They just said, hey, I'll be out here, or something or another, instead of using the 10 codes. And so Val would come on, every time he'd come on, dispatcher would always say, he'd say 10-8, and we'd go 10-4, and we'd give the time. And Val would then, right there, make sure his watch and his car clock was the same. So he just strictly did that every time. It was a habit of his. So later on, it was later in the evening when this incident happened. I was at dispatch, it was nice and quiet, nothing going on. And of course, Val comes on right away. I think his number was 406, if I remember right, and the base is 400. So he comes on 406, 400. Says, go ahead, 406. And he goes 1088 at 5 and what's that?
220.
20. So I said, okay, and I looked. I said, what's 1088? Luckily, we have the forms taped to the console there, all the numbers. I looked up, 1088. Officer needs assistance. Oh! So I said, 10-4. I said, I'll get somebody out there right away. And I right away called somebody, one of the other officers, Rutkowski and Stephen. And so he was going to go down there. And then I got back on the radio. I said, are you okay? What happened? And he goes, and he was just, all of a sudden he started to get confused. First he sounded, like his normal by-the-book self and had it all under control, but I could tell he was starting to waver. And he goes, I don't know what. Something hit me. He said, I don't know what happened. And so I tried to keep, talking to him a little bit. And before the officer got down there and took care of him. But as I talked to him, I could tell he was getting just more and more shook up. It was starting to hit him. And so I waited after a while, and they brought him in to the office a little later on. I'm still there. And he had patches over his eyes. They take him into the doctor in the hospital because he had what they thought was, the doctor said, like welder burns on his eyes. His eyes were really burned. And so we talked a little later about what the heck happened, what he saw. And I remember, I went through this whole thing, and it was just getting weirder and weirder by the moment. And I remember him telling me, well, I come up to 220 on 5, and I looked down and saw a light over the road down there. He says, about a mile or so down. And I turned, I thought it might be a beat. At that time, he said he thought it might be a plane that had to make an emergency landing. It's a big light. So he turned down, started to go down that way, and all of a sudden, bang. That's all he remembers. The light was right on top of him. And that's the last he remembered. And apparently he had been out unconscious for a little while before he called in. And I'm talking, he's telling the story, and I'm just, I'm getting shook up. But this is really strange. And I remember all the things that went on after that. And we had people calling from all over the world about this incident. I mean, it got out on the radio or whatever, on the news, all over it. We had people calling for a good 2 weeks, calling us. One guy called, he was a mathematician, and he says he can say how this all happened mathematically. Okay. Yes. And we had all kinds of strange calls. We had people calling and saying they had seen something out there, And I mean, this went on weeks. We had calls after calls, and letters were getting in the mail. And I remember too that Ford engineer who worked with, they came and looked at the windshield, and he was really mind-boggling and confused as to what happened, because he says he looked at it, and he says, and he did this thing with the patterns and stuff. He what he thought it might be, what if somebody hit it. But he said, whatever it was, I remember him telling me this, I was talking to him, he says, whatever it was went through and came back out again. Like something hit him, something like an energy went through and came back out again. And so he says, I've never seen anything like this before. And this guy, he's been working with Ford for over 40 years or something, whatever he said. But he's been around him for a long time, so he was an expert. So I believed him. And all those other things that we saw on the car with the antennas and stuff, and it was just so strange. And I know that Val's watch and the clock in the car had stopped. I can't remember for how long, like 20 minutes, 24 minutes, something like that. 14 minutes. I know it's a little bit. I don't remember. But it was, I'm going to stop here for his clock, and this thing stopped for so long, and just at the right time, both of them. So, and I've had people calling through saying that, he was just making us all up, he did this and that, and people calling out the devil and stuff like that. And I was just upsetting because I knew Val. And this guy, I seen him go from a sharp, just on his toes and just by the book type of guy. And when I saw him that night, he was starting to just crumble. I knew it's something had happened. It truly happened. He wasn't making this up. So, but it was something that I remembered for a long time. And I saw him when he was on That's Incredible on TV, and he's out in California. And as a matter of fact, I had a book that was about the That's Incredible shows they put on there 1 year. And that story was in the book. And it was really, really incredible. So, I even went online before I came here and looked up on YouTube about That's Incredible show, and they showed that again. So, those people who doubt this, you can't. If you ever talk to him, and I know Val too afterwards, he did not want to talk about it anymore. After a while, he said it was just shook up, it was causing problems with his family, his family life, and people calling, threatening him.